maybe everybody go there thinking they're going to get everything for free. So when you break off the countries into their like these states, you have to say, and maybe we can start getting some names together. Maybe we get some signatures together and living with people with the same ideologies. And there's nothing. Be honest. Now it was a party at one time. Hello, everybody. Back. The Chooch is back for another show. It's been a little while, but that's okay. A couple of weeks. We do every show every couple of weeks right now. This is Johnny the Chooch coming from Pennsylvania. Today is June 18th, 2026. What's going on? This is a podcast. What this podcast is about breaking up the country. Yes, breaking up America. You know, the shithole that we live in right now, created by not the people necessarily, maybe half, but the politicians and the media and the moguls and everybody else that just love to ruin stuff. Johnny the Chooch put together a website. It's called uuamericans.com, uuamericans.com, meaning the Ununited States of Americans. It basically explains what I'm talking about, why I'm even here talking to you on this podcast. It's about using my solution to the division of this country and the radicals that want to tear it down and more or less live an untraditional life. I'm still on board with a traditional existence. You go to work, you try to have kids, maybe get married. You know, you do a traditional thing, right? You know, it doesn't mean you have to have kids and stuff, or get married. But that's what I meant. Sort of a traditional thing. You kind of follow suit and try to enjoy the things God gives you. Still believe in God so far, sure. A website explains how we would do this. The solution is I'm talking about using Article 5 of the Constitution of the United States, which is an article that says the 3/4 of the governors of this country, which is considered a convention of states, 33 governors, 3/4 could vote and change amendments and articles and things within the Constitution or add to the Constitution. And what I would be asking is let's put an article in. I don't even really think there's an article. I'm not a constitutional scholar, but I believe you can just do it anyway. Kind of been looking into this, but put in a solid article that states that states or a group of states or a half a state, whatever you want to do, can break off and be their own country and be their own existence. Now, the reason for this is that the subdivision in the country isn't 90-10, 80-20, 70-30 like I grew up. It's not even 60-40. It's 50-50. I mean, every presidential election and everybody's winning by 1,000 votes or 1,000,000 votes, which is nothing. We're split. There's two different ideologies that run this country, within the country, and there's a lot more political views now. There's religious views, and it's just 365 million people. We can't keep it together. I think it's over. I think this party's over. Thank God that I lived when I did. I'm 60 years old, and I lived through my childhood through the 70s and the 80s, and then what a great time! Really, really great time. But to me, it's over, and we'll try this solution. What I'm coming up with as far as letting countries break off will maybe hopefully help the people of the future. Even if you don't believe what I believe in, I want to make something clear on this podcast and my website. Nobody's wrong to me. Okay, I don't take sides. I do not take sides. If you think mass murders is good, I guess I can't. I'm not going to argue with you anymore. Maybe it's good. I don't believe in it. but some people do. Some people think, or okay, we just look at killing today. Not everybody, as a lot of people though have to seems that the people in this country just overlook it. It's getting ridiculous. Um, the things that we're allowed to do in this country, especially from one side, from one viewpoint, more or less the non-traditional people, and those are the people that really don't believe in God anymore. They don't follow rules, policies don't work. Enabled people that really look at the country as a bad place, and maybe it is. I don't know. Maybe it is. I'm not going to argue with you. There's no argument. I don't want to really negotiate or talk. What I'm saying is, we come with the Chooch comes up with solutions, and the solutions would be, let's start breaking it up. This is a great time. It's 250 years of the history of this country. It was a good 250. A lot of stuff went on, but it seems that every year, or every administration there's a war. Every administration there's a gas problem. Every administration there's a problem. Every administration there's a riot. It's like it just keeps going and going. I mean, this is so ridiculous. And really, who keeps making the money is the media, the politicians, the people rebuilding the cities, these groups that are cheering on, people, burning down everything and ripping down everything. I mean, everybody's making money. The country's really just a platform to make money. Really, really, and not saying everybody. Again, it's a split decision. There's a lot of people that really probably want to live a reasonable life. There is such thing, I think, as, I'm not going to say normal, but there is such thing as a way of life. People have been living this way of life, meaning getting up in the morning, living as a village. You're taking care of your family, having family, going, having something to believe in, and it's worked for like 5,000 years or something. So I still do believe in that. But if you don't, I have nothing against you. But what we should do is not keep butting heads and trying to, for some reason, sway each other on what is right or wrong. That's just turning into a money-making avenue, and it's hurting the people in between. I am a working class. I wear my Italian guinea tea, to show you that I am a working class person. I believe in working class values, and the humble way of life, I believe, is good. Yeah, we have too many people ruining the country that have too much money, too much power, and I don't believe in human beings should continue to tell people what to do anymore. I think it should be about the people. I say we the people a lot. I know we use that word, we the people. I don't say we the people meaning on a constitutional level. I mean we the people together that are working, that want to just be left alone, that want to live a normal life, get together. What we really need to do, I mean, there's two ways to change this. One is to press and petition. That's why I go to my website. There's a couple of emails you can get in touch with me. One is Johnny the Chooch.com, and one is uuamericans.com. Email me, petition, yes or no, you believe in this, and maybe that could work. I mean, these things online and these platforms, get to everybody in the world. By the way, this show can be seen on the xlhub.com network, the xlhubnetwork.com. That's where Sarah, the producer, produces the show. She has a bunch of shows on there, really good shows, like paranormal shows and criminal shows and things of that nature. I just happen to be one of them. She offered up a spot on her channel. The xlhub.com is the network, and you can go see all the different shows. I know if you go to up top, it says more, then it says shows, and then you scroll down and you can hit the links to all the different shows. So you can go there. Actually, I have a Facebook page now, uuamericans.com. So I write some comments on there. You can get in touch with me there or on my website, which is uuamericans.com. Okay, so we're kind of sticking with that theme. Yeah, so let me know. Let me know. There's another way to do this. Is we only have two parties in this country, but it's one party. These parties will not eat each other. They will not throw each other under the bus. Everybody's making money. Even this previous administration is killing us with making money. This guy's doing okay. The president, he's doing okay on some levels. I get it. The economy, the border stuff, but a lot of things he's not. We're forgetting the middle people. We're still getting squeezed. The big beautiful bill. I'm paying probably more taxes or just as much taxes as I was. So, housing's an issue, food's an issue. Of course, the oil thing right now is a scam. We're going to get into that in a minute. Yeah, we need to break up. This is just a business machine. Even he's using it as a business machine, as a platform to make money for him and his family and everything. He's getting involved in Bitcoin and AI and all that. So this is a monster business move on his end, and everybody and his buddies are making out, and everybody else like you and I are still paying for ridiculous taxes and programs to where this is all getting filtered. But let's get into that in a couple of minutes. I don't have a couple of minutes. I have plenty of time. So the second way is to start another party, right? Because somebody's got to sever this party. I was thinking about what to call a new party. It was something with the word "people" in it. Maybe the people's the People's Choice Party 2026. Because what it is in 1776 we broke away from England, became independent. What we're in right now is another revolt or another revolution. The only problem is that the kings and I'm not pointing him out specifically. I'm really not. Again, it's either way. I'm just saying we need to change something. But what it seems like, is that the people running this country are turning into the kings, not just the king, and they're squashing the regular person. So we're in another, revolution, really, right here on our own soil. And so what it is we need to start a party to, what's the word? Split into these parties, and split it open, and it should be more grassroots based, and it could work. And it would be basically based on the people making all the decisions. Really, what's supposed to happen is people, not politicians, aren't supposed to make your decisions. They're supposed to just be information seekers from their constituents. Okay, that's all they're supposed to do. And then they're supposed to bring the information from their constituents to the meetings, to Congress or whatever, and say, this is what my people want to do. Okay. But they don't. For some reason, they beg for your vote, they beg for your money, beg for your campaign money. They beg you to be, and they're going to do the right thing. They're going to do the right thing, and they don't. They don't. They play a big game. This is a Game of Thrones. This is a game of Risk. This is a battleship, whatever you want to call it. It's a game to these people. And the only thing that's going on is they're gaining pensions, money, lobbyist money. And this is over. I mean, it's just what it is we all know it's over. So we have to have somebody. So maybe I'll start the party. Maybe I'll be ahead of the party. Let's call, the people. Yeah, the people. The people speak. The People's Choice 2026. We'll come up with a name, but it's going to be something of that nature, where it's going to be people based on making decisions, not these jerk offs that are running the country. I mean, these are the biggest scumbags walking the face of the planet. The other countries are involved too. The people that run their country, most of them, not all of them, but a lot of them, are taking advantage of everybody, and it's getting sickening and it's getting tiring. The problem is in this time and day and age of where we are, we're smarter than that. People were followers back in the day, as we say, back in the day, but we're not like that. We know even the working class guy knows we're getting taken advantage of, but yet they come on TV every day and lie and lie and make more money and lie. Okay. And it's you can't really relax and just go to work and live your life. Everything's stressed and everybody's got an opinion. So the Chooch's solution, Johnny the Chooch's solution, is to split up the countries. Let's beg the president. I know this guy is president. This guy's got an ego a mile long. He would love to be the first president to let states break away, literally break away. Now, this isn't something new. All right. Texas has been wanting to do this. A couple of other states have been wanting to do it through the years. The biggest one was the South with the Civil War. The South wasn't about slavery. The Civil War wasn't about slavery. It was about money. It was really about money. You know, it was about the Abraham Lincoln didn't want them breaking away because they would cut off the financial resources for the whole continent. He didn't want it. He actually started the fight. So then we'll get into that one day and another time. And I already wrote a blog about it. Oh, actually, you can go to my website. I have blogs, different issues. Go to the bottom, just scroll through them, all different issues and just opinions, things that different things that have went on in history and recently and in the past, and just things of that nature. So it started then. It started then, and 600,000 people died, and nobody really liked the South. Really never liked the North anymore. The North rarely ever looked at the South like they were much of anything, and it just created a separation. It should have been separated then. Probably back then, the South would have took their states and made sort of a territory continent. The New England states would have took their states. Possibly the tri-state area, as we know now, would did it. California as a whole, being so big, might have just been. So they would have did it. The Southeast, the Southwest would have did it. The Northwest would have did it. They would have took their. So they would have broke up anyway. Nobody gets along anyway. Nobody cares what anybody's doing, across this continent. They only care what goes on within their state, within their community. The only thing that really binds us together as a country is taxes. So somebody in Iowa can, as a senator or Congress, can vote on something that goes on in New Jersey, and New Jersey votes on something that goes on in Florida. No good. You're trying to convince 500 something people to get along and do what's right when they're all got their hand out. And they all got their hands out. Look, I see. Look, they all got their hands out. Everybody's waiting for their check. Not happening, man. That's why we can't get anything done. So let's petition to break up the country. States start. Let's go beg this guy. Let him be the first president on his block to let a state break away from the union. Secondly, if you want to start a party, let's start a party. I'll be the head of it. I can start it and then maybe pass the torch, but I can start it. The People's Choice 2026. Let's start with that. I'm going to think of some more names, and next podcast maybe we'll come up with a different one. Or email me. Let me know what a good name would be for a new party, and let's get 100 million people. To go to Washington and say, no, we got a new party. You people are horrible. You people are horrible, narcissistic, arrogant, whatevers. Okay. And you need to leave, and we need to do this differently. Okay. So that's that. So that's why I'm doing this podcast. It's talking about splitting up the country, and I can't wait. But let me go into a little thing. Yeah, I wrote a couple of notes here. So let's get into the show a little bit. So how I feel a lot of times is that you should make decisions what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about things about being states just singularly as if they were their own territories. And then, of course, I'm going to talk about as a country, what we can do in the meantime, or give an opinion on what I would do, let's say, if I was a politician or somebody running the country, right? So what you have to do is you came up with like an equation. The equation is is when you're making a decision as a political person in this country and how you would answer the question. You always got to do it as if you're in a debate. How would you do this? So this is what I came up with. So there's three parts to an answer when somebody asks you a question. One is based on religion because everybody talks about religion, and religion could be mean moral, an ethical, a moral ethical view. Okay, we don't want to throw everything out the door. I think a lot of people still have morals and ethics, and hold the door open for somebody when they go in, Walmart, Quick Checker, 7-Eleven, right? I still try to do that. Some people don't. So, secondly, would be on from a financial standpoint, and then thirdly, a political standpoint. There's a political side. So, if you're talking about, let's say, what's a good subject? Guns. Let's talk about guns. From a religious standpoint, from a moral standpoint, you're allowed to protect my answer. You're allowed to protect yourself. You're allowed to protect yourself. There's not enough police. There's more bad people than there are police. People should have the right to protect themselves. You should definitely have a federal carry card, and you should be able to cross lines to any state where you want to go with a with a weapon. Absolutely, to protect your family. It doesn't make sense to have a carry permit here in Pennsylvania, and you can't go to Ohio with it. So what good is this? I carry in my neighborhood, and I think there's even parts you can't bring it into Philly. You can't go. So it's ridiculous. That is absolutely absurd. So from a moral standpoint, I would say, no, we should be able to do that so you can protect you and your family wherever you go in this country, because we're supposed to be a country, right? See, this is where I'm going to get to a little part of this, where our president right now throws everything back to the states. It's a state issue. But then the federal government gets involved when it gets to a certain level. So you can't be involved. You got to pick or choose anymore, man. Either you're going to have federal law, or you're going to bring everything back to the states and do what he's doing right now, which is worry about the stock market, the economy, the international issues. Okay. And, keep them, prices down, I guess. I guess he can, that we'll get into that in a second. So worry about the things outside the interior of the states. Let the states do everything. And that's why I would say, let them break off and become states. No more Constitution. You don't go by the Constitution of the United States. Of course, you have your own rules. You don't even need the state constitution anymore. If you become your own country, you can do whatever you want. You don't have to be bind to the Constitution and the federal government. You can do whatever you want. So, but right now we're talking about the three things and how to answer a question if you're asked a question. So, yes, guns morally, yes, you could use them. Financially, from a financial standpoint, it would work. People would buy more guns. It would be another way to make money and produce a business to make money. It would people would be able to travel, I think, more freely to wherever they want to go. Keeping themselves safe wherever they go, so they would travel more. Of course, buy lots of ammo and things of that nature. Now, listen, I'm not getting into a full answer. I'm just kind of giving an example of how I, would answer something. Of course, you'd have to get more involved in that. But financially, yeah, we would buy more guns, buy more ammo, and be able to freely move around to spend more money in different areas of the continent, North American country, and that would make people money. Politically, you talk from a political point of view. What would be the reason politically point of view would be to you got to think about am I voting for that based on my constituents and people around? Basically for your constituents where you're at. So of course the certain blue states and people of that nature won't vote for it, so they're going to vote it down. People that are live in redder states that carry guns will vote. for the guns. But as quote unquote, like say higher level, the president, you're looking at from that nature, you would say, I think politically, it would you would have to get, like I said before, the people's answer, gather information, gather information from all the country and see what people think. That and then make a political decision based on that also. So you can go with these three answers: the religion factor, moral factor, being safe financially. It can create more jobs, more money. It could make people move freely around the country feeling safe. They would spend more money. And then politically, you would say, listen, 80% of the country's for this. And then you can base your, or 70. I'll take 65-30 any day. 60-40, 65-35 is my cutoff, right? So there you go. That's kind of the equation and how I would answer on certain issues. So that's another reason why we bring it to why I really push for the separation of states and people breaking away in the unions, because we won't even have this. You could have your own country. You can do whatever you want, and there won't be any federal umbrella of what you can really do with your guns. Let's say we talked about guns. So that's that. Real quick, you don't have a whole lot of time. I got like 4 minutes left. It's funny. Just a couple things. I always bring up something about like the news. So I was looking at the news. I was watching it. There's talking about guns. There's a congressman called Brandon Gill in Texas. Texas is having an issue with the Muslim population. It seems like they want to take over and build, towns and things of that nature. And let's face it, probably more than likely take over the state of Texas, right? I mean, is that where we're kind of going? Yeah. Okay. So, he gets on there, typical politics. I mean, listen, I like Brandon. He's a handsome guy. He goes on, he talks smart. He always has he's a whip. But he goes on this show and he talks about this issue, and he's like, oh, we're gonna have problems, and my kids might be. I'm worried about our kids wearing burqas and things of that nature, and living by Sharia law, and it might happen in 20 years, maybe not now. So he's going into this whole thing, but it's like, Brandon, here's the thing, dude, do something about it. Do something about it. What's Texas doing? Why do you mean they're sitting around? I thought guys rode around with pickup trucks with guns on the back of the truck. Do something about it. Hey, England's doing it. Ireland's doing it. They're fighting back. Even Italy, they're looking for, demigrations, remigrations to get everybody out. So, yeah, do something about it. That's our DNA. Whoever put DNA into the human humanity, it ran out. You know how things run out, like antibiotics, like they expire and medicines expire. This DNA ran out. It's reversing. It only went so far, morally, intellectually. It ran out. Unfortunately, our technology, there's some handful of guys that are creating technology that keeps creating more technology. Okay, that's sort of good, but we're not keeping up with the technology. I mean, you got, they're building rockets, like Elon Musk is building rockets, but you got somebody like, eating like seaweed soup somewhere. So we're not. There's parts of this. It's all over the places. People that are moving forward, people moving backward, people not moving at all. The DNA had stopped. It slowed down. And whoever was out there injecting this DNA, or God, whoever you believe in, how we even got here like this, stopped it at some point. And we're not progressing. Okay, we're not progressing. I think the game is over. From a religious standpoint, I think God is done. I think he's done. And I wanted to read something real quick. Hold on 2 seconds. I'll be back real quick. Hold on. The Chooch is back. I wanted to read something real quick. I'm in the 30s, real quick, and then we're going to get off. This is sort of religious. I try not to bring too much religion into this. I really don't. I try not to. But I will. So here's what's happening. There's actually a little scripture here talking about separation, and there is a scripture, and this is a scripture from Matthew, and it says one of the most sobering teachings of Jesus is found in Matthew 25. Okay, where he describes a future day when all nations will stand before him and be separated, just as a shepherd separates sheep from the goats. The Chooch is back. We had a little disruption. I was actually in the middle of something. I was getting to something, but we're going to do that for the next show. We're going to start the next show with what I was getting ready to talk about. So it's Johnny the Chooch, uuamericans.com. Go to my website. Please petition. Let's break up the country using Article 5 of the Constitution, or let's start a new party. The People's Choice 2026. Anything to get these scumbags out of running America and running our lives. You can text me, johnnythechooch.com, uuamericans.com. Text me either subject I just brought up. And you can go to Sarah's channel, the xlhub.com. It's a network. All her shows are on it. This show's on it. You can go to Facebook, my Facebook page, uuamericans.com. Check out some things that I'm writing, posting things of that nature. Okay, Johnny the Chooch. See you next time. On my website, it kind of explains like this is the maybe everybody go there thinking they're going to get everything for free. So when you break off the countries into their these states, you have to say, and maybe we can start getting some names together. Maybe we get some signatures together and living with people with the same ideologies. And there's nothing. Be honest. Now it was a party at one time.